Hello, I'm Deborah Sword.
Hi, I'm Tyson Bankert.
Tyson, I want to talk about experimenting with
Mm.
conflict.
Oh, okay.
We've talked a lot about scripts,
Mm-hmm.
the conflict script, the pattern you get into, how
Mm-hmm.
you cycle through the same conflict again and
Mm-hmm.
again when
Mm-hmm.
you're in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with somebody. What would it be like to experiment to change the pattern by surprising the person when you are in a repeating conflict and you want to change the script? What might that look like?
Oh, well, I think about some of the people that I know that I've tested this out. And I think some of the conditions for me, one is like I need to be okay with it being a little bit fun, a little bit spicy. You're not sure what might happen. And also it tends to be something that I need to be aware that I need to think about that I'm going to do. So that next time that that person brings this up and we get in that, I don't want to get in that pattern, what would it mean for me to surprise or have a different response or express a trait that they maybe not be um, so much expecting and see what happens. The possibilities are endless. And I think having that attitude in mind really is helpful in being able to at least know that, like, yeah, you're willing it's an experiment, not necessarily something that you can never guarantee anything. So,
And what that brings up for me is that, first of all, you'd have to know what your pattern is.
right, yes.
You would have to say, you know what, we're following a script. Here's the script. And here are the places where I can
Hmm.
change it.
Hmm.
Here are the places where I can inject some surprise. What would that look like?
Hmm. Hmm. It's like, it is for me, sometimes it is, I think about even how I train my dog, right? When I do something a little bit different, they're not expecting it, it allows for me to practice a different way. And it also allows for them to respond in a different way as well. And I think it, and it opens up a bit, it emerges some new growth in that dynamic. And every time I do that a little bit more, I actually end up getting to hopefully the result that I'm looking for. And there's an opportunity to feel like it's in my control.
And I know you to be a very creative person. You're
Mhm.
you're an artist, and I see that as part of your creative spirit.
Hmm.
Because if you are thinking about what you always do, you then have to come up with something new.
Hmm.
What is the surprise? What is the trait that I have not yet shown? What are the conditions I can set up that would support me surprising my dog or this person or
Hmm.
this group of
Hmm.
people?
Hmm.
How, and it's a form of disruption
Hmm.
in the most positive way.
Hmm.
It's a creative disruption.
Hmm.
I want to change the script so that it can improve the quality of the relationship, so that I can increase my conflict competencies by having more tools.
Hmm. And it's that whole thing of like, if you're ever in a conflict with someone and they say, "Why do you always do this?"
Hmm.
Right? Uh, that I think is the point where you might say, "All right, I'm going to try and test something out differently the next time." I'm wondering for you, do you let the person know that you're, because does it kind of, is it still a surprise at that point?
Well, sometimes, again, it depends on the context.
Right.
And is this a sustaining relationship where we're going to be doing this endlessly into the future? I might,
Hmm.
depending on what I see as their capacity to change with me. Uh, with the major one in my life, I had an incredibly difficult relationship with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not think that she was going to be able to engage with me in a different way.
Hmm.
Um, so I just changed. I changed how I reacted to her.
Mm.
And then there was nothing for her to push back on.
Oh,
But with
okay.
my
Mm.
father, I said, okay, let's change the script. And he was all in. he said, great.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
very open to it.
Yeah.
And I'm curious for your mother, did she notice that you were changing?
I told her afterwards.
Mm.
So after a couple of months, when our relationship had settled down,
Mhm,
then I could go back and we could discuss it.
mhm. How does one feel if they don't believe that it's changing, even though it is? Like that you yourself are actually surprising them with this trait, right? You kind of it's at the end of the movie and you've showed them all the different things that you've done
The
to make
credits are
it the credits are
rolling.
rolling,
Yeah.
right? And I'm wondering, I think sometimes we also have to think be humble that you don't need that the other person doesn't need to give you the credit for actually being the one who's changing that relationship. And maybe they do, but I don't know if we need to expect that. Because I think that it can also be really hard. But
Yeah, I didn't do it for
hmm
credit. It
hmm
was,
because yeah.
yeah, she got more pleasant with me.
Hmm
And I think I said something like, isn't it great that we're now getting along better?
hmm hmm Yeah.
But it's not about them. It's about me
Right.
feeling
Yes,
better in the
totally. Yeah.
relationship. I
Yeah.
wanted to have a
Right.
relationship with my mother.
hmm
It was weird that I didn't.
hmm hmm
So
hmm
in the end, we had the relationship that worked for both of us.
hmm Yeah, I think about I don't know if it so much as this was a surprise, but I worked with someone who I was surprising them with how I was responding and how I was showing up. And in a team meeting between our boss and I, this person brings up, yeah, like our relationship with Tyson is, yeah, they thought that they were doing a lot of difference changing. And I thought, oh, it's so funny. I want to be able to share that I'm the one that has changed, and they've just been responding to that change. And but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter per se because both of us are having a more nourishing and reparative relationship, and that's okay.
And that's what I think of every time I hear the expression, it takes two to tango.
Hmm
And I think tango is not the only dance.
hmm
And sometimes it doesn't.
hmm
One person can change a
hmm
relationship.
hmm
Do you need to tell the other person? Maybe. That's again for you to decide based on the context and how much what your emotional investment is in the relationship. But to improve the quality of the relationship, it really only takes you.
hmm
And again, we're not talking about physical abuse because that is
Right.
not for you,
hmm
that is not a safe
hmm
place to,
Practice, yeah.
well, safety is more important than anything.
Right, yes.
So thank you.
Thank
And I
you.
look forward to being surprised.
Likewise, likewise. Yes.
Thank
Surprise us with a like and please subscribe, and we will see you next week.